Myself, M. Karthik Kumar Reddy, working as an assistant professor in Nalla Narasimha Reddy Education Society's group of institutions in the Department of Civil Engineering in Foundation Engineering subject in Unit 3, that is Earth Pressure Theories. Now, after knowing all these three types of lateral earth pressure, which act on the retaining structure due to the presence of backfill, let us try to analyze the cases one by one, that how exactly we can estimate the lateral earth pressure in these three different conditions. So first let us try to have a look on the estimation of lateral earth pressure at rest condition. So you see here this is the wall and this is the lateral earth pressure at rest condition. This is not at all moving. If I take any soil element at a depth z from the existing ground surface, this is the existing ground surface at the top level, and here is the backfill. If I take any soil element which is represented by this rectangular part at a depth z, then what will happen is that due to the overburden of the soil, there will be vertical stress that will be acting on the soil element, and then correspondingly on the soil element, this horizontal stress will be acting. So this is the lateral earth pressure. Now how to estimate it? First of all, we fix the properties of the soil, that is C and gamma. C and phi value, that is cohesion and friction value. As I told you earlier that the amount of lateral earth pressure, it depends upon the shear strength properties of the soil. So you see here these are coming into the picture along with the unit weight of the soil. So the height of the wall is h in the particular case. So h is our your vertical height of wall, gamma is your unit weight of backfill, and c is the cohesion, phi is angle of internal friction, and sigma prime, if I call it as normal stress, then the lateral earth pressure diagram at any particular depth will be the lateral earth pressure diagram at any particular depth as shown in the figure, that is K naught into gamma H. You see at any particular that is depth Z, what will be the vertical stress, that is gamma into that particular depth Z. So here at depth H, this is gamma H, and if you multiply it by K naught, this will be K naught into gamma H, and the resultant of this triangular force will be given by this particular diagram as P naught, which is lateral earth force. So this is what pressure diagram, and the total area of it will be it will give the total earth force which will be acting. You know that since it is a triangular part, so it will be the resultant will be acting at h by 3 from the base of the wall, that is from the bottom. So now let us try to see what exactly is this K naught. K naught is equal to the resultant of the lateral earth pressure at rest condition. Here we have found that these values of K naught based on the experiments and their engineering behavior of the particular soils. So you see that Jackie in 1944 gave an expression for K naught at rest condition, which is equal to 1 minus sin phi dash is the angle of internal friction. Now this is the normal consolidated clay, and for over consolidated clay, K naught over consolidated is approximately is equal to K naught normally consolidated into square root of over consolidated ratio. Now I hope that you know that what exactly the normal consolidated clay and over consolidated clay. But to give you rough idea about the normal consolidated clay is a clay which is subjected to the maximum pressure acting on the soil, and the over consolidated clay, that means this clay has been subjected to that is clay has been subjected to more pressure as compared to the present condition in the compared to in the history, and that this is over consolidated clay is k naught over consolidated by k naught normally consolidated whole square from this relation. Now how can we estimate the total force? We have already drawn the pressure diagram As I told you that if you take the area of the pressure diagram, you will be able to get the total force. So you see, from we have the total force which is P naught, and that will be per unit length of the wall. It can be obtained from the area of the pressure diagram, which is the expression that is P naught is equal to 0.5 gamma h square into K naught. And as I explained you earlier, the location of the line of action and this from the bottom of the wall will be h by 3. H is the vertical height of the wall. Now we took a very simple case to make you understand that what exactly do we mean by lateral earth pressure at rest. Many times it may happen that the backfill soil is subjected to some surcharge. It may be due to the existence of some structure, or due to some residential building, or something different load. So here I discuss a case where lateral earth pressure with the presence of some surcharge load. So you see here the surcharge which is Q has been applied exactly in the similar condition, exactly but to the similar condition we have applied only some surcharge, that is additional load has been added to the previous condition. Now let us see that what will be its effect on the lateral earth pressure diagram, and then subsequently the estimation of lateral force. You see, if I take any soil element at a depth, if I take any soil element at a depth z from the existing ground surface, then similarly in the case your sigma v is equal to, on the sigma h is acting, sigma h is acting horizontally. The properties of the soil are C and phi and gamma. H is the vertical height of wall, and gamma is the unit weight of backfill soil. Q is the uniformly distributed load at ground surface. C is the cohesion. Phi is the angle of internal friction, and sigma dash is the effective normal stress. Now, first of all, before finding the lateral earth pressure at any particular depth, we need to find out what is the vertical effective stress pressure at that particular depth, because if you simply multiply the vertical effective stress by your coefficient of lateral earth pressure, then it will result into the lateral earth pressure. So first let us try to see that what is the vertical subsurface stress at any particular depth z. So you see sigma v is equal to Q plus gamma z, and then the lateral pressure at rest at that particular depth will be K naught into sigma v dash plus mu. Sigma h is equal to K naught into sigma v dash plus mu, where mu is the pore water pressure present in the particular soil. Here what will happen is that your effective stress, that is your total stress, will be the sum of effective stress plus the pore water pressure. So this mu is the representing the pore water pressure. So you see here K is the absence of any water table, just the surcharge has been added to the previous case as discussed earlier. What is going to be the difference means, you see it in the figure that particular depth, this is Z, your vertical stress is Q. Now if the vertical stress is Q, wall is at rest position, what will be the horizontal stress? It will be K naught into Q. So here at depth Z is equal to 0, it will be plotting as K naught into Q. Now at depth Z, you see at depth Z is equal to H. What will be this? Again, due to this surcharge, the vertical stress at this particular point, that is in the figure, that is at Z. So the horizontal stress is also going to remain same, which is K naught into Q. But due to this backfill soil, the additional part, you see, the additional part of the will be coming as a triangular part, which is denoted here by the area, and then this particular depth. Your vertical stress is gamma h, and if you multiply that by K naught, that will give you lateral pressure. So the lateral pressure will work out to be K naught into Q plus gamma into gamma times H. So if you see, if I take this first expression, this will be denoted by the first one, and this is the rectangular area, And the second one is the triangular area, which will be acting at, first one is acting at h by 2 and the second one is acting at h by 3 from the bottom of the ground surface. That is, rectangular portion is acting at h by 2 and triangular portion is acting at h by 3 from the bottom of the base of the ground surface. P2. This will be acting at, P2 will be acting at H from the bottom of the wall. Now these are the two different cases, but what is happening in the reality, they are not two separate things. They are one entity. So after knowing this lateral earth pressure diagram, we need to, after knowing this lateral earth pressure diagram, we need to find out that what will be the total resultant force and what will be its line of action. So we have seen that separately for figure 1 it is P1 which is acting at a depth h by 2 from the bottom of the wall, and then for the second area it is P2 which is acting at h by 3 distances from the bottom of the wall. Now we must find out the resultant of this P1 and P2 in magnitude as well as it is line of action. So let us try to see that how we can find out. Let us say this is the resultant, that dotted line is the resultant of P1 and P2 is P0 and acting at a distance of Z bar from the bottom of the wall. So now let us try to see that what is the procedure to estimate. As you can see exactly in the similar manner, you have to find out the total area and that will give you the magnitude of the total force which will be acting per unit length of the wall. So I am writing here P as P naught into P naught is equal to P1 plus P2, and if you see that P1 is equal to Q into K naught into H and P2 is equal to 0.5 gamma H square into K naught. That is P naught is equal to Q K naught into H plus 0.5 gamma H square into K naught. And the next one is location of the line of action of this from the bottom of the wall. That is, as already we have represented in the figure, Z bar is equal to, that is Z bar is equal to P1 of H by 2 plus P2 of H by 3 whole divided by P naught. Now in the presence of water table, further complicate the situation, let us try to see that the water table is also present along with the surcharge. So you see we are going by step,